Good morning, my dears. We're going to do a very early spring garden tour today. I only have the high tunnel and the lower gardens to water this morning, so I've got a little bit of extra time. Thought that I would walk you through everything that we've planted. The upper garden is still not complete, so we do have more to go in there, which I will talk about. Today is, hold on, April 24th. I've got my coffee, of course, muy importante. And we're just going to walk through all three. And we are I would say at about 75-80% capacity. We've got a little bit more to go, but the majority of stuff is in, and that feels really good. We've had a big lift the last few weekends. My partner is traveling quite a bit for work these days, and so the day-to-day kind of maintenance is falling on me. If you can tell by my face, I'm very tired. But it is not the kind of tired where I am begrudging it in any way. This is a life that I love, but it is a lot of work. It means a little bit extra earlier morning, and that's okay. But definitely makes for a little more tired. So let's go ahead and begin. We're going to start at the top of the top. So here we have 6 rows. Back up a little bit. There we go. We have 6 rows of corn, and they go down to, I'm trying to find it, about where you can see there's a rock right there. So we've planted 6 across this plot to come in a block. Then we will plant that second half down there. And then we will likely end up planting this with corn as well. We have so many seeds, but just to do a few successions, have everything not coming in at once. Our plan for the corn is to can it and freeze some. So I also had mentioned that I wanted to try maybe drying it and grinding it into cornmeal, but my partner thought maybe this was the wrong kind of corn to do that with. So we'll see. I don't know. It depends. Here we have planted Black Diamond watermelon seeds. And again, it was just this past weekend. So, I mean, it's not even been a week yet. Not coming up yet. But we really enjoyed them last year. We weren't quite sure about them because for some reason the pictures that I had seen, the flesh was like very dark red. And so we assumed that it had to be very dark red in order to be ripe. Ended up eating one that was like a light pink flesh, like just not thinking it would taste like anything. And it was so sweet and so amazing, very ripe. So we kind of learned our lesson, but it was very vigorous. I was pretty diligent about feeding it every 10 days with a good all-purpose fertilizer. I like Espoma's Plant Tone, and then with bone meal. And it flourished. It did very well. So this is our garlic, and I'm actually going to walk you down because I think it's really interesting. So this first variety here, this is the Nootka Rose, and you can see that compared to the stuff down there, it's very small. I was not sure it was really going to do anything. Honestly, I thought like it kind of died, but it came up. It's just a little bit slower growing, I guess, than the rest. The second variety here that is just going gangbusters is the German white. We grew this last year. It is doing beautifully. It cured beautifully for us, and this is probably about the same amount that we had last year for the German white. And then this one down here, also doing very well, growing really nicely, is the Music garlic. And I don't know. We'll see. I think these are both hard necks. The Nootka Rose might be a soft neck, so again, might be another reason why it's taken a little bit longer, because I've only ever grown hard neck. So moving on, this is our potato patch here. Kind of like to there. So we have the Yukon Gold potatoes planted. We have the Norland Reds, which we grew these two varieties last year. They were great. Produced 4 times the amount that we planted, and that was perfect because that was what we expected. And then we planted French fingerlings here, which historically do not do well in our area, but I wanted to try them anyway because I love French fingerling potatoes, and they're smaller and just like make a good like little roasting potato. There's some here also. We had some extra. Here in this patch, we have got our Kalima beans, and it looks like I've already got some pest damage on there, which I'm not loving. But we have, I think it was 23 plants, and they did very well for us. We did these in the raised bed garden last year, and we did a couple plants up here, and they did so well. So I'm pretty confident they'll do fine. Next to them, as you can see, we've put ash down just from our fireplace that we had saved all year. And these are our squash. And so I have alternated, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember, Ford Hook. That's what it was. It was the Ford Hook zucchini and the early scallop, which is a white, like patty pan scallop shaped squash. Again, we planted, gosh, I'm not sure how many. I want to say it was probably about 20 squash plants. I will succession sow squash. We're going to put some in the garlic when we pull it up. But the ash is supposed to help cut down on squash vine borers and squash bugs. And so I watered, so it looks kind of wet, but we'll try to keep reapplying that. We have a ton of it. And then we'll also stake them, take off the bottom leaves, and so hopefully they will climb up that stake and again just be less susceptible to pests because of that. I'm hoping. This trellis here, and we put it like this because I didn't want it blocked. The sun comes up like over that way. We're overcast today, but typically it's coming up that way. So this is all fava beans, and basically every rung of this I planted fava beans. So I think there's 25 seeds in here. And so they will come up eventually. I'm gonna walk down here. My honey got some onion sets, which was not in the plan this year, but we do like having onions and going through them. And I am so pleased. They're looking very healthy. And so he kind of did the research for these and found like you basically put a trench in the middle and then 2 mounds on either side. Obviously in the mounds, that's where you plant. And in the middle is where you put the fertilizer and you water in all that fertilizer. And it actually is supposed to help feed them more in a way that they like and where those nutrients are more available to them. So we'll see. I don't know. We've never done onions before. Have especially never done them from sets, but my onion seeds were really old and so didn't take off this year. So, you know, we're just, we're learning. And next year I would like to try starting a couple different varieties from seed, but I will be buying new seeds for that. So, all right. Here in this row, and we have 2 rows of it going all the way up, we have honeydew melon. And this is a lot of honeydew melon plants. I realize that. If they produce as vigorously as the watermelons, like we will be giving away many, many, many honeydew melons. But I've had a couple plants get pulled out and die. And so I'm guessing that by, the time that they really start growing quite vigorously, we won't have as many plants in this section. And so I think it'll actually end up being just about perfect. Okay, so we've got all of this space left to do stuff. And kind of right now, the plan is to, I have some peppers and tomatoes that we're going to do up here. Again, just to do them in a different spot, see how they do. I am guessing the ones in the raised beds with trellising will probably do far better. But we're going to try some here. We will trellis the tomatoes, obviously. The peppers are a little bit stunted, and I think it's because they got left out on a couple 45-degree nights, which they can handle, but they don't like it. So we're going to see how they do. I've got peppers in the high tunnel, and they seem to be doing okay. They're kind of bouncing back a bit, so we'll see. But we're going to succession sow squash in this bed. We're going to succession sow squash in the garlic beds once we pull that out. I got some more melons that we could do in here as well. And probably we will also succession sow, that is a hard thing to say, y'all, some green beans. So that is our upper garden veggie patch. We are growing on a pretty big scale, but we are very committed this year. We've said this like every year, but it's just been challenging to do because we've been kind of pulled in a bunch of different directions. And this year we're really trying to focus on food preservation for ourselves, for the winter. We go to the grocery store, y'all, like just like everybody else, and probably always will, because we eat things like avocados and bananas that you can't grow here. And so, but I really like, especially over the summer when we have fresh produce, like I would really like to not have to go to the grocery store. We get like our flour and dairy products from Azure Standard. Our beans, like black beans and stuff like that, from Azure Standard. And then if, we're butchering our own chickens, we have our own pork. We also get beef from Azure Standard every once in a while. It's pretty expensive, but we do get it from them. And so my goal is just to not visit the grocery store this summer if we don't have to, and maybe do like once a month we go and we get stuff like soda water and trash bags and stuff like that. But I get our dishwasher detergent and our laundry soap from Truly Free. They are very clean ingredients. They don't leave like residues and stuff that are harmful. And so, yeah. So we're going to try to avoid grocery stores in the once we get produce coming in. All right. So flower beds. These delphiniums have been really slow to take off, but they are finally starting to take off, which I am so thrilled to see. So, these are the, I think these are the candle blue delphiniums. I got two kinds. I got candle blue and Pacific Giants. These may be the Pacific Giants, actually. I also ended up getting some eucalyptus. This is just a great greenery filler. Once it gets really, really warm, it will start going gangbusters. So more delphiniums here. We have poppies. These are winter sown poppies, so they are way ahead of the game, as you can tell. And then these smaller ones are spring sown, and they're coming up. I've got St. John's wort. This is St. John's wort from last year. It's coming back very slowly, but this one is doing beautifully. I like the berries that it produces. This bed we have poppies and snapdragons. And I feel like I probably should have thinned out my snapdragons like just a little bit better, but you know what? It is what it is. This is fireweed. More delphiniums. We have sage in here, which I like for greenery. And I have a lot of stakes. I've got stakes up on these beds here to put the Hortonova netting. I've got enough Hortonova netting for all of these beds, but I do need to grab more stakes from Tractor Supply. All right. We've got a couple delphiniums here. I just had some extra, so I stuck them in there. These are all my giant China asters. Again, they were in the plug tray for a really, really, really long time, and I do not think they are happy about that. So they are not doing a whole lot, y'all, but we're having really cool mornings. Like, it's 50 degrees this morning. We're having very warm days, which is normal for this time of year, but I think these prefer a little bit weather on the warmer side. So we'll see. I may need to come down and feed them. I'm not sure. I probably just need to do some research and see how we can hopefully zhuzh them back to life. I've got a little patch of Bells of Ireland here. Again, I need to stake this bed because they will bend and follow the sun, and I don't want them to do that. So I have got white snapdragons in here. It's a variety called Snowflake. And then those are some volunteer red amaranth from last year. And my Monarda, this is like a beautiful, just pale purpley pink, really gorgeous. More poppies in here. And I planted y'all, it was probably like 17 different varieties of poppies. It was so many. And so I'm not even going to try to bother telling you all of what was in here. But those are brassicas that I planted like way last year, and they came back. So I wasn't expecting that, but hey, it's okay. These are, again, just some more China asters that I had a little bit extra. And then poppies volunteered from last year. Ranunculus, mainly in this bed. Some of them have been eaten back. Little random volunteer. Bells of Ireland there. I probably need to do some weeding in this bed, but there's a lot of celosia that's coming up that was in this bed last year, even though we mended the soil. And so, I like volunteer plants. I'm about the wild, crazy garden, so I'm just going to let them go. And then I've got two more of the baby blue. So this is a smaller leaf on the eucalyptus there. Have started planting out. My goal this year was to do like a succession of zinnias and sunflowers every week. I think it's probably going to be a couple weeks before I get to that, doing it weekly, just because I don't have the space right now. I need to finish this. There's supposed to be like a walkway there, and then that is also supposed to be a bed, and I need more soil and rocks to finish that off. I'm going to line all of these with rocks also, just so, again, there's a pathway and it's a little bit more defined. But I've got sunnies here. These are the Zohair organic sunflowers. These are the Santa Fe sunflower. They're really beautiful. They've got like pink, kind of pink towards the center, and then they go out to yellow. And then I think these are all zinnias. So I've got a mix here. These are the Mazurkia zinnias that I grew last year, and they're like that variegated, like pink in the center and then white on the end. Really cool looking. And then I saved seeds from last year, so this is just a mix, and that is fine. I planted, dahlias and peonies this past weekend. So these are the Labyrinth dinner plate dahlia. These are the Cafe au lait dinner plate dahlia. Rip City, which is like a very dark, rich red. The Rancho dahlias are here, and they're like this blushy kind of yellowy orange, but not like aggressive orange. Like, it's really, like I said, like it's got a pink hue to it. It's really beautiful. Coral Supreme Peony and the Scarlet Heaven Ito Peony. The Ito peonies are a mix between the herbaceous and the tree peonies. And again, just a really like deep red. So kind of my thought with that is that they will go very well like in the fall once we get like kind of that those brown, not brown, oh my gosh, y'all, my brain, I need to finish my coffee here. The chocolate cherry sunflowers, you know, just to have like another kind of dark flower to go with it. And I really tried to stay kind of in the super pale pink to white to blushing, like a blushing orange yellow, and then like the deep reds in my color palette, just to have like consistency, things that I can bring florists that, you know, kind of tie in together. So we're gonna go down here into the high tunnel. So I have been harvesting from the high tunnel for the CSA, obviously. Today is Thursday, and I typically would have a CSA run today, although the lady had emailed me to let me know that they would not be available to pick up today. So I kind of got a morning off, which is great. But I planted some tomatoes in here. And they're looking a little on the stunted side. These are the Hungarian heart tomatoes, so they're a canning tomato. But I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. They don't look awesome. So I guess we'll see how they do. This is my tray of tomatoes that I still need to take some out and plant. I was trying to let this stuff like go to seed so that I can save seeds. And this one looks like it's doing good, but I might, just in the interest of time, like pull out the rest. Our lettuce, this is our Batavian Great Lakes lettuce, and then we have romaine lettuce here, is all going crazy. And the calendula flowers, they're so beautiful. They're just so bright. Love them. The cilantro is starting to bolt and go to seed, which not wholly surprising. But I've got a couple volunteer Brussels sprouts there, which I'm not mad about. But ideally what I would like to do is continue planting this row with tomatoes. Put tomatoes here. These are my Brussels sprouts, the red rhubarb, and I am going to let all of these plants go to seed. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, probably not those two because they're a little bit behind. At least these two. Let them go to seed, save seeds. Then I've got plenty of seeds for the fall. And again, I don't have to buy them. So that's awesome. So these were the rutabagas, and as you can see, they're all bolting. So it's time to pull these out. Like, we're done with them. These are my hot peppers. I have shishitos, and then I have the chiltepin peppers, which finally, my goodness, finally look like they're doing something. They were really puny for quite a while. But these are doing good. When they get a little bit taller, I'll pinch them. That will encourage branching, and then hopefully get more peppers that way. Our arugula, I have arugula planted in like 7 different places in this high tunnel. So I know these seem like small patches, but I've got it in a bunch of different places. I just like clumping it together because then when you cut, it actually kind of makes it a little bit easier. Our baby spinach, which we did harvest a little bit off of, but it's looking really good. These are our tall top beets, and I am just praying that they hang on until, like, that they don't bolt before they produce beets, because I really, really, really want to get some beets off of them. And then our French breakfast radishes. I don't know why I've been calling those cherry bell the whole time, but they're not cherry bell. They're French breakfast radishes. Are doing fantastic. Again, more rutabagas. Planted them in the wrong place. The sun, like under this cover, y'all, it is a lot more intense. And so on a hot day, Like, it does not matter how much I've watered in here. Like, it gets very warm. We've got all of the sides open and all 4 sides of this high tunnel open. So there's very good airflow through here, but it's just like, there's no, like, there's no way to cut down on the rays unless I wanted to go spend $600 and buy a shade cloth, and I don't want to do that. So, more tomatoes and peppers. Well, actually, more tomatoes are going to end up going in here. And then I have okra that is kind of slated for this row here. So I'm just planning on this whole row being okra. I've got some lettuces here that are coming up. And these, again, just kind of didn't do anything for a while. And then they just all of a sudden, like, started taking off. But I like how they're kind of staggered, so they will make really nice heads. This is my Ragged Jack kale, which I've been harvesting off of. But again, like, as you can see there, it's starting to bolt. So it's time to pull it up. I have nothing here. I'm not sure what I'm going to plant there. Again, probably, I might actually do cucumbers here and put like a hog panel or a cattle panel across here and let them climb up. A few random lettuces, and then these are my sweet peppers, which again are also kind of going a bit slow. Peppers for me tend to go slow. I don't know, like, every year I've ever planted peppers, they go incredibly slow. So I have sweet nona, and I have the Criolla de Cocina pepper. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, this is the Criolla de Cocina and the sweet nona peppers. And those sweet nona peppers are from in Asheville, North Carolina. All right, so up here we've got more work to do up here, but it's not as far from done as it seems. We've got 2 more in-ground beds that are going to go there. I do have stuff planted in these. And then I think 1 more, like, really long bed that will go in front of this one, and then we're done. Up here, I think it would be really cool eventually to put like a gazebo or something right there, like a little pavilion. But probably a long ways away. I have our Sunrise Bumblebee cherry tomatoes here and sweet basil. And I've always had really good luck planting my basil with my tomatoes because it helps deter certain pests. I've got spinach that is starting to pop up. So that's in a row here. And then these are all the French breakfast radishes there. I really wanted to just use all the seeds that I had ordered this year, like use them this year. And I like can get away with like pushing them a year, but I'm not doing this thing where like I have like crazy old seeds for long periods of time. I'm really trying to avoid that. Okay, so we've got some calendula in this bed. These are Vates collards and arugula. Again, more French breakfast radishes. They're doing pretty good. And then I've got more arugula over there. I don't really know why it turned like bronzy, but more Vates collards and arugula. And some of these on the edge here are getting like really big, which is awesome. They're so delicious. I love like the taste of these. Dill here, doing really well. I've got lettuces. It looks like I've got some Salanova. And then I'm trying to remember. These were pelleted seeds, actually, I think that I got from my neighbor. So I'm going to have to go look and see what kind of lettuce the green one is. Obviously lots of pea shoots in there, which is fine. They're not taking up much. I'm a little bit worried. My lemon basil does not seem to be going crazy like I wanted it to. I also had more dill over here. So we'll see. And then a yarrow that I transplanted out of the high tunnel. This is chamomile. This is German chamomile. I've got lemon balm hyssop in here. More lemon basil here. It's like my favorite tea herb, y'all. I highly recommend it. And then I planted a little bit more yarrow over here, which doesn't, again, look like it's doing much, but I may come and just do a second succession of herb seeds in these beds. So we've got, that's kind of my tea herb garden over there, is what my main goal for that is, to just have herbs in there, go gangbusters, and not pull them up year after year. Just let them take over, and that's like our tea garden, because I will use it. All right, y'all. So the main purpose of these raised beds is tomatoes, cucumbers, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull soil up from that bottom section, level this out, and put 2 more raised beds up here. We're going to get started on that project this weekend, but I don't know if we'll finish it. My neighbor, super kind, elderly gentleman, went ahead and dumped a couple loads of wood chips. He has a chipper for us. So we're going to use that to mulch walkways and stuff. But I've got our Amish paste tomatoes in here. Again, probably planted a little too close together, but I'd rather have more for insurance just in case. I also planted a ton of marigolds like on the edges of these beds. These are beefsteak tomatoes, and I know just by looking at them because they are what's called a potato leaf tomato. Their leaves are not that really like scallopy shape like other tomato leaves are. So this is pineapple tomatoes in here. This is like my favorite heirloom tomato that I've ever had, y'all. They are so crazy sweet. Got lots of fungus in here. Just kind of funny. But I hope that means it's healthy soil, good microbiome in there. Rosemary. And then we've got 2 varieties of cucumbers in this bed. These are the Muncher Cukes and the Market More Cuke. The Market More is like a bigger cucumber. The Muncher Cukes are meant to be harvested small, and they're really, really sweet. They're good. One of my marigolds. That is Tulsi. I've got Tulsi in other beds as well, which is just going really slow. Tarragon. Rosemary. We put our 2 butterfly bushes here. We had one down there. It looked like it needed divided, so we did. This one is not doing so hot. And butterfly bushes typically don't need a lot. Like, they're just really easy to deal with. So I'm not sure what's going on, but at least that one seems to be doing okay. I love the blooms from a butterfly bush. Like, they just smell like heaven summer. I mean, they are so amazing. All right, so this is our berry patch, which is somewhat weed overgrown, but I'm not stressing about it. I saw something when I was in here the other day. I'll show you guys, but these are our blueberry bushes. They didn't really do anything last year. Just barely survived. And so I'm really hoping that we get some berries this year. I don't know though. They don't look like they're doing particularly awesome. Like leaf growth is very good, but other than that, they're looking kind of puny. But what I did see that made me very happy, these are raspberry canes from the old ones that we had planted in here. And it looks like we're going to get lots of raspberries this year, which is super duper exciting. We had them kind of like planted, but they do spread. I think this is where we had the old one planted. But, I mean, look at all those blooms that are coming up, you guys. Like, that's so cool. And then we've got an elderberry here. We've got one here. And we've got one here. And, again, didn't do a ton. Basically did nothing last year. But I'm hopeful. And then this bed right here is where our strawberries are going to go. We bought some bare root plants. Just got an update that they're not coming in until May. So we're a little bit sad, but we do have some strawberry plants down here that my honey's mother gave us. And that's my lemon balm, which I'm going to transplant that probably. So these strawberry plants here, and you can see, so they put on the flowers, and then the flower falls off, and these become the strawberries. So we do have a couple starting to grow. I've got sage over here, which I would like to move, but it seems to be doing pretty well. So I don't know if I will. There's yarrow in this bed. There's mullein. That's anise hyssop. So y'all, I think that is about it. We've got like a random chamomile kind of growing in places and stuff. But that is all of the gardens. So we have so much growing space. Again, we're, we've probably got 20 to 30% more capacity that we need to plant. But, we're well on our way. We're still getting very cool mornings and nights. And, it's warm during the day, but not a lot of rain in the forecast, which again, kind of a concern. But I'm going to get to watering everything down here. And I'm so excited to see, like in just a couple weeks, how much all of this stuff grows. It's going to be pretty amazing to see. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.